We celebrate this day at a somewhat specific context, as the predecessors meant. This conflict that we only describe as something other than barbaric violent demonstration of imperialism, of neocolonialism, of the enslavement that tends to be imposed on us today. This is what we call terrorism. But like they've said, we appeal to the youth at a given moment to fight this fear. And the youth responded massively. Today, several young people are enrolled up as VDP, and others are waiting. We can see them through the arteries of our cities. It goes straight to our hearts. And we dare to believe that young people have understood why we do have to fight. If our ancestors fought to give us land that today, we call Burkina Faso. That means we have to fight too, to leave something to our children. If God has made our generation to face this fight today, it is because He knows that we have the capacity to achieve it. And I know that we can count on everyone so that we can achieve it. The fight is not only military in the field, but the fight is much deeper. In this sense, we must also fight to change our mentality. Our generation may have grown up in a system that shaped us, and which is very difficult to change perhaps, but not impossible. Maybe among us, some still find themselves with the character that we don't recognize. However, I would like to say, to cite an author, there is no bad man that cannot change his heart if he is taught how to have wisdom. I think each of us can change. And in this sense, we can choose to forgive ourselves when someone is not on the path we hope for. But at the same time, we need to teach him the right ways to change. Because the lethal weapon of imperialism today is manipulation, and youth is the target. Our country, or I would say Africa, is predominantly young, and the youth are the target of this manipulation. And when we discover it, we have to fight it. And most of the time, imperialism is not necessarily those who come from elsewhere, but they are among us. And it is among us that manipulation is born. I invite young people to get rid of it, to always look for the right information, and to always think of our countries, of our different countries throughout Africa. I repeat, if our ancestors left us a land that we found, we must leave a better land for our children. In this sense, today we are gathered to talk about the problems of youth. We are going to make promises, to see perspectives, and also to challenge each other. I think the parents and the nanny challenged you, and the minister wishes to give you each 300 francs. But I believe the challenge goes beyond that, because youth must also understand something. We at the executive level, we take action, but we also need to talk to you to raise your awareness, so that together we can raise the challenges. That's our today post to us. Why do I say this? When they tell their stories, we realize that they fought themselves to get there. Today, as the minister indicated, instructions have been given so that we can create a single fund that can support the youth in entrepreneurship. We will not ask you to start from scratch, but there will be a minimum to support and help you. Alongside that, very recently, we've done everything to expand tax at the level of young companies that will have to be created. This is to give you support, so that you do not find yourself confronted in the first years with certain difficulties. In addition to all this, I think, as he said, we're thinking a lot about professional training, And this is one of the major reforms. Therefore, of this department, I think that when I went to university, it was made clear to me that it was not about working, to have a diploma and seek to be employed. It's also about learning a job and to exercise it. Today, we are looking to reorient a good part of the youth towards professional employment, which means that we will have to build lots of centers of professional training and to be able to teach many jobs to young people. Because here we have a lot of resources. There are enough reforms in favor of youth which are in progress. And throughout the world, we have been able to understand that we can make it happen because we have enough resources to bring value to the outside world. We're focused, for example, on agriculture currently, which is very important to us. As I said earlier, food self-sufficiency is a fight. It's a fight when we talk about dignity. We're talking about honor. If you are not self-sufficient, you have no dignity. When a father has to go home in the evening and has no grain to put on his son's plate, he can talk about dignity. The whole family will live in indignity because the woman will have to fight as best she can, in every way you can imagine, to find food. There is no dignity when we don't eat. There is no dignity when we reach out. Do you see this new shape of neo-colonialism that we're talking about, which therefore tends to bring our youth back, to demand chronic assistance? We're fighting against this.